Dr. Silver Mugisha, the Managing Director of National Water and Sewerage Corporation. Today, I want to discuss the issue of water pricing and how National Water and Sewerage Corporation prices its services for the benefit of its customers. The problem I'm trying to address in this discussion is that we have had inadequate sensitization of people about the underpinning principles of water pricing, and this has brought so many propositions, with some people saying that you get water free from lakes, from rivers. Why don't you give it free of charge? And you can clearly see that there is first of all inadequate understanding of what goes on to produce this water and be able to serve it to the people. There are also some issues to do with understanding when we charge this money, what do we use it for? I want to start by looking at the current price of water that National Water charges. National Water Tariff is uniform meaning it cuts across the board. What we charge in Kampala here is the same as what we charge in Jinja, what we charge in Kabare, what we charge in all areas where we are operating. And the price of the water on the public stand post is this point where the public comes, pay some money to the vendor, and then get water. National Water charges 25 shillings per jerrycan on that public water point, and the caretaker of that public water point is expected to sell that water at not more than 50 shillings per jerrycan. And this includes VAT, it also includes the service fee. The problem that normally happens is that the person who is given a chance to take charge of the water point gets water from National Water at 25 shillings per jerrycan. A jerrycan is 20 liter container. Gets it and sells it at 100, 200, 300, and sometimes 500 shillings per jerrycan, which is a little bit exploitative on the side of the customers. How do you get water from National Water at 25 shillings and sell it at 100, at 150, at 200, at 300, and so on and so forth per jerrycan? Now, when it comes to the industrial consumers, the people who are involved in manufacturing, the people who are involved in the production sector, we charge them 60 shillings per jerrycan. And that came about 4 years ago as a result of cabinet intervention, where the corporation was asked to support the industrial sector in this country by lowering the price of the water. So we put it at 60 shillings per jerrycan. Then domestic are these people who have managed to pull the connection to their own homesteads. We charge them 83 shillings per jerrycan of water. All these include VAT. They also include the service fee. The institutions are charged 84 shillings per jerrycan, and then the commercial people, these are the people who are they have shops in town, the hotels, and so on and so forth. Those ones, they are charged 97 shillings per jerrycan. So you can clearly see that actually the person who pays a lot of money is the other one who is not connected to water, whereby somebody comes and gets water from a public water point at 25 shillings, and then he or she goes and sells it at 100, 150, 200, sometimes 500 shillings per jerrycan. All the other categories of people, they really pay less than 100 shillings per jerrycan. Now, I did an analysis of the consumer categories of national water, trying to look at the market of national water, and I found out that actually the domestic category constitutes about 81% of the customers of national water. And when I talk about domestic category, these are people who have managed to pull the connection to their homesteads, meaning these are people who are able, the people who one can consider to be rich people. These are about 81%. Now, when you look at the commercial category, people with shops, people of hotels, these constitute about 11% of our consumers. Now, the public stand post category, these are the people who are poor or low income. These are about 3% of our consumers. This segmentation of our customers is extremely important for the points which I'm going to discuss hereafter. Now, there have been some voices of our people, including some leaders, who have been advocating for free water, especially when we get problems of COVID. People advocate for free water. First of all, one of the most important statistics that I need to mention here is that our production cost is 70 shillings per jerrycan, which means the public stand post category that pays 25 shillings per jerrycan as their tariff, the industrial tariff category that pays 60 shillings per jerrycan, all of them are paying a price that is below the production cost of 70 shillings per jerrycan. These are now being subsidized. These two categories are being subsidized by domestic, institution, and commercial category. But still, those three categories, they all pay less than 100 shillings per jerrycan. Therefore, advocating for free water, what would it mean? Because there is already, we need inputs. We need electricity, where currently as national water we pay almost 10 billion per month. We need money to pay for chemicals which we use to treat the water. Currently that is about 3 billion per month. We also need money to pay salaries of staff. We currently have about 4,200 staff, and the bill, the employee rated cost is about 10 billion per month. We need money to pay for pipes and repair materials. Currently that goes to beyond 10 billion shillings per month. So you can clearly see that we need money to be able to sustain national water, to continue running as a going business concern. Now, advocating for free water would mean somebody else must pay national water in compensation to make sure that it continues running, to make sure that it can pay for power, it can pay for chemicals, it can pay staff, it can pay for materials, these repair materials, to pay for pipes, to pay for all the other input costs. Now, who would then pay for this? And remember, getting free water would mean you are actually getting free water for the rich, the majority rich, because most of the people who are currently connected to national water services, they belong to the rich people category. That's domestic, who are currently paying 83 shillings per jerrycan. Institutions, these institutions, the schools where the owners are charging school fees and then remit part of that for water. And then the commercial category, people who have shops, who have hotels, and one of their inputs is water. And therefore, the simple way of looking at it is you advocate for free water. You know that you are advocating free water for the rich and at the expense of all these other low-income people, most of whom have not yet accessed our services. And our current strategy as National Water is actually to make sure that all these people who don't have water get water. That is the mantra of water for all. Now, the mantra of water for all, the aim is to make sure that those who don't have water get it. Because the reason why people pay water expensively at 200, at 300, at 400, being exploited by the vendors is because they don't have a nearby water point in their vicinity. And you know, in the using the economics of demand, supply, and pricing, if you have scarcity, then you have high prices as a result of demand being very high. And of course, scarcity means the supply is very, very, very low. So our strategy now is to make sure that we reach as many Ugandans as possible with water, safe water services, so that these people who are currently exploiting them by getting water at 25 shillings from National Water and selling it expensively to them, we can be able to manage that situation. And therefore, it is not correct, it is not patriotic to advocate for free water services when we know that actually the majority of the low-income people of Uganda are not yet connected to piped water services. There has also been some propositions that the people who are connected on who have gravity flow systems should pay a lower price. The fact of the matter is that the areas where we are serving through gravity flow systems, like in Manafa, like Uganda, like Kasese, like Mpondwe, and so on and so forth, those areas, their systems are not able to even break even. It means those systems are incurring a higher cost compared to the revenues which we are getting from there at the price level I have just mentioned. So therefore, saying that their tariff should be reduced from the level at which it is, it would mean that first of all, you reduce their capacity to break even further. And what would that mean? If they are to continue with the services in those areas, money must come from somewhere else to subsidize them. So in this situation, whereby even those so-called gravity flow system areas, they are not able to meet their costs, I think it is advisable, where the corporation have said it is advisable that they continue to pay a uniform tariff, like what is happening elsewhere, as we continue to subsidize their systems and help them to build capacity to be able to break even as those systems. And I think this is happening everywhere, even in electricity. If that approach was to work, it means it would also work for power. It means those people who are staying near the dams would be claiming to want to pay less than those people who are staying very far, where you need the transmission pipes, rather pipelines, the transmission lines to be able to reach them. So in this case, I think the idea of a uniform tariff is a good one, so that areas which have already accumulated economies of scale, where the prices which are breaking even can continue to subsidize those areas, even when they are a gravity system. The last point I want to discuss is the point of modernization. Most people come to us as National Water. They want to introduce modern systems. They want to bring prepaid meters. They want to bring smart meters. They want to introduce computerized systems in the network. Our answers to them has been that currently our eyes are on serving Ugandans who have not yet got our services. Now, if you ask us to divert resources to modernization, it means we are diverting resources from our core strategy of reaching those who have not yet got our services. That's why we are evolving policies. For example, the policy on prepaid meters, we are evolving it now, but it is going to be on whoever wants a prepaid meter pays for it and we install it. In that way, we are going to ensure that the investment funds which we are trying to mobilize to reach those who haven't got services are not diverted. We can still modernize, but in a systematic way, in a structured way, in such a way that those who want modernization can meet the cost of doing it. So I thought I would talk about water pricing. There's a lot we can discuss if we went deeper into it, but I think in a nutshell, I'd like to ask our customers, our stakeholders, to understand that water pricing is a very complex exercise. It looks at affordability of services for the people, but it also looks at equity. The price of water must be at a level whereby even those who have not got services continue to get them. In national water specifically, we also look at efficiency. How do we improve efficiency so that we can also leverage enough funds from efficiency gains to be able to help us to invest in infrastructure to reach those people who haven't got our services, and also to be able to ensure that the assets we have are promptly maintained, are promptly rejuvenated, to ensure that we build resilience within our infrastructure, to make sure that our people continue to be served and fettered. So I want to end here, and I wish everybody who is listening will be able to understand these dynamics of water pricing and support national water to continue serving them.